So, Greg and I, we both had the opportunity to review a game called Demoniaca: Everlasting Night for the Switch. This comes from Eastasiasoft. And disclaimer, Eastasiasoft was kind enough to provide us both with codes. So thank you very much. Demoniaca is it's an interesting story where like an entire town is just like killed by demons except for your character like demon blood gets into your blood from your open wounds, and you kind of get like reborn as like this demon warrior, and you have to go into the corrupted Tower of Babel and try and uncover the secrets and figure out what's going on and get some answers as to why all this transpired. And this is a Metroidvania 2D, beautiful art style with loot system and upgradable gear and skills and stuff. Greg, what are your thoughts?
Well, with like a formula with Metroidvania that already pretty much had me hooked to be like really interested in it. But the main thing that kind of my main issue with the thing is actually the difficulty level. Like they have a classic mode which is supposed to promise like a super difficult experience, and then in addition they have the easy mode. And like I was having trouble just doing on the classic, and then I jumped into easy, and then even on easy I didn't make it much farther because it's getting way too difficult for me to even surpass things. I'd be playing it several times. It's not just like first time and just kind of give up and like make it back to the same point and like die to the same enemy again. And that was like several times that happened, and it kind of made me give up at that point just because I was unable to proceed. So I didn't make it terribly far into the game, but what I did play was like fantastic. It just I felt like the difficulty spike kind of jumped up a little high too fast, at least for my liking. And I know there are people out there that do like that kind of difficulty in their games, but that's not something that's for me specifically. So, um, did you kind of see that same kind of thing when you were playing?
I think I started with like the lower difficulty, and I didn't terribly have it hard. Like I was able to defeat the enemies and stuff. I got to like a snake boss. I beat the snake boss, and that was like it just came down to pattern recognition, as many things do. But it just like there was one period where it was like I could just attack it at this point. Um, to me, the battles were well, except the buttons, like the controls were weird because like jump was like I think R2, and then like the four face buttons were action buttons like Street Fighter. You had two punches, two kicks, and you had this whole combo system which was really well done. I just hated jumping with the shoulder button. That was one of those things. But
Well,
then I came to the real difficulty spike for me. And it wasn't the combat, even though that was, it took a little bit just to get into it, but it was jumping. And I don't mean just jumping as in using R2. What I mean by that is you can't grab a ledge and pull yourself up, nor can you double jump. So a lot of jumps have you jumping against the walls and bouncing off. And if you overshoot or you just hit the ledge, you fall. Like you don't just grab the ledge and pull yourself up. And I spent so many times trying to do simple jumps, going back and forth up walls, and like there would be an enemy at the top, and it would hit me, and it would just drop back down. Like I couldn't double jump over it, or if I tried to attack it, it just felt off. There was something with the jumps just felt off. And what should have been simple Metroidvania platforming that I've done in a ton of other games, it just didn't feel right. And even in the trailer, you can see at one point, like it's like she does a wall jump and just flies overhead and like lands on a platform that doesn't look like they were intending to actually go for it. And it's just I didn't realize how much I appreciated being able to grab a ledge and pull myself up before until I played this game. And oh boy, what a negative. And I was like, is it just me? So I looked at some reviews, and other reviews have said the same thing. So it was one of those things where I don't know, something weird with that. Did you find that issue
yeah,
at all?
yeah, a little bit because there was like a perfectly like flying enemy, and I had trouble attacking it. So then I was like, maybe I'll just try to jump over it, and then like it that kickback would kind of like send you backwards, and then like so then well, maybe I can try to like go under it somewhat, and then like you try to, like you were saying, you try to grab the ledge from below, but then like it nope, you're just hitting a flat wall, and then you just go all the way back down. So it's wasn't the most like intuitive like way to help traverse those games. Like that's usually the most like critical aspect of like Vania games is being able to like make sure you're able to jump and do the platforming as needed, and not always be like sent back down and to redo it like several times over and over again. Like I know Super Metroid's like the main game that's inspired like this genre completely, and trying to compare the two, it's like it's much more difficult to do in Demoniaca than it is to do in like Super Metroid and other games of in the genre.
Yeah, and that's where I wound up. Like I didn't beat it. I got frustrated, and it was something so simple as that. Um, but it broke the flow for me, and it really started to aggravate when I found myself spending 5 to 10 minutes just trying to go up a shaft that shouldn't take me that long, or just do some platforming. And even like that boss, the snake boss, you had to jump onto a ledge to attack, and you had a small window. And if you jumped and you didn't land on the ledge, but you hit the ledge, and you just fell like it was a wall, you didn't grab and pull yourself up, you had to sit there and wait for the whole animation to go through into another shot because you couldn't get back up. And I was looking through the skill tree, like maybe there's a skill that's going to let me do this. I couldn't find a skill, and maybe there is, and I missed it. But it just, I don't know, just that part annoyed me. I thought the equipment was cool. I got different pieces of equipment. There didn't
Yeah.
seem to be a rhyme or reason. I got two of the same. I got one weaker later on than earlier. Did you get any like equipment? Did you get to play with that system at all?
Yeah, I did. I found a number of different rings and other things, and since I did play both difficulty levels, like the equipment was completely different. Like it wasn't the same pieces in the same spots, and I also really appreciate like how like the mini map actually shows like the locations of some of the secrets. So then you're not spending tons of time just like trying to figure out if there are secrets everywhere. Like you can actually go through the game much quicker. Like, oh, you see there's like a secret off to the side, like, oh, I can get that, or maybe I don't even want to go for it, even though you know it's there kind of thing. So I did really like that benefit of having the mini map open, and that part made it like game a lot more enjoyable to me that like was already there on the map.
Agreed. Yeah, there were some treasure chests that I tried to get, and it involved, like, if it was a double jump, it would have been easy, or if there was some kind of like a climbing system. It would just, like, I would have even accepted like Mega Man X style, where you jump against the wall and you can kind of climb up the wall jumping against it. None of that. Like, you jump and it's always a wall kick, and no ledge grab. And to me, it's a shame because the game is beautiful. I'm intrigued by the story. I definitely would have liked to know what was going on. Characters seem cool from everything I've gotten. I did hit like what I thought was a dead end, so I started backtracking, and backtracking was more difficult because of the jumping thing. Because like I fell down a couple ledges to get where I was, and then trying to get back up was just a nightmare. And after a little while, I was like, I'm done. Like, I want to go more, but it's too frustrating and it's just time consuming. So I'll save my final thoughts. I'll let you go with your final thoughts first, Greg.
Yeah, overall, I obviously I was already saying the difficulty wasn't for me, but I would definitely recommend it for people that like difficult games and like Metroidvania games. Um, Combo systems are not like the best for me either. That's kind of my problem with some other games that use those kinds of systems, like not fighting games. So it's not like also something that I look forward to a lot, like in the games that I play. But I could still easily recommend it for. I can see a lot of people having a lot of fun with this one because there's definitely lots of challenge to be had. And like you were saying, the game is absolutely gorgeous. The music is fantastic. The story is very intriguing and interesting. And I wish there was an easier way to go through the game just to experience like the story and not have to worry about the difficulty spikes that we were experiencing.
Yeah, I think this game could be fixed with a patch. I think they could change just a few little things, and this game would be incredible. This is 14.99, I think, digital. Yeah, 14.99 digital. I do know that VGNY Soft is going to be putting out a physical copy. So I'll be getting it. I'll be buying it again on the physical. But uh, it's one of those things where if you like Metroidvanias and you want to give it a challenge, want to give it a try with the challenge of the jumping and the combat, uh, I could say I could recommend it. But if you take that recommendation, you download it, and you get frustrated by the jumping, don't say I didn't tell you about it. Or if you get
Yeah,
difficult with the combo with the challenge of the difficulty, don't say Greg didn't warn you.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah, but
Fully
thank you
agree.
again to Eastasiasoft for giving us the codes, and that's our take on Demoniaca.